Water slowly began to drip on the outside of the villa. Hi, I'm Lila Habib. Just call me Lila. So, hi guys, I'm here to introduce you guys about myself. My full name is Lila Damayanti Habib. Others call me Lil or Lila. And this year, I am 18 years old and I have a few hobbies which are like playing Rubik's, but I never played again. Then listening to music. Fun fact, I love to listen to all genre. And then drawing, but it is not that often. Alright, back then I was a student at Imam Bukhari Elementary School, and I continued my study to Junior High School 1 Ranjekek, afterwards Senior High School 3 Bandung. And yeah, one of the most memorable experience during senior high school was becoming a leader of scientific paper project with two of my friends. I conducted a research-based learning about the role of Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Streptococcus thermophilus concentration with on individuals with lactose intolerance. We did a lot of journey, paper reports, work under teacher guidance, and also we carried out experiments with pH parameters. The hilarious part is we use GCO as a place for the group work. Actually, we just use commercial yogurts, ordinary yogurts that you can find easily in commercial store. We use it because it is easy to get and also cheap. And I'm sorry, we use one of our friends to be the volunteers. Back to what's going on now. I'm a student at Polytechnic State Bandung with informatics engineering major, not for bachelor's but associate's degree. I'm consider myself a critical thinker and also creative person. Yeah, in the future, I would like to become a cloud architect who act like designer of cloud system, who manage and design a system for organizations. Actually, I'm still learning and exploring about this role, but for now, I'm interested in pursuing it. I think that's all for my introduction. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Not goodbye. We actually have other topics. Stay tuned. So guys, I'd like to talk to you about a figure in Indonesian history who is often overlooked, a revolutionary and also a thinker whose history is as dramatic as any novel, Tan Malaka. Who is Tan Malaka? He was born in Pandang Gadang, West Sumatra on June 1897. His birth name was Ibrahim Datuk Tan Malaka. He was the first person to articulate the concept of Republic of Indonesia in writing. In his 1925 book, Naar de Republik Indonesia, Towards the Indonesian Republic, predating works by Muhammad, Hatta, and Sukarno. His life was a perpetual flight, an epic journey that spanned 2 continents and covered 18,900 kilometers. He adopted 23 aliases and lived in at least 11 countries, including the Netherlands, Russia, China, and the Philippines. The clandestine life was forced upon him due to his radical anti-colonialism, which made him a target of the secret police of the Dutch, Japanese, British, and American. He was imprisoned multiple times, both by colonial governments and, ironically, by the Indonesian governments led by Sahir and Sukarno. Physically, Tan Malaka was a small man, only 165 centimeters tall, but his mind was huge. He was
known for being disciplined, humble, and cautious, always sitting facing the window in case of secret police raid. He spoke at least 7 languages and carried little more than 2 sets of clothes wherever he went. Ideologically, Tan Malaka was complex. He was a Marxist-Leninist in theory, yet a true nationalist in action. He believed independence must come first before any ideological purity. So why Tan Malaka? Because he represents the forgotten father of the Republic. He writings, especially Masa Akti, inspired figures like Sukarno and even influenced the lyric of our national anthem. He played a key role in the massive Ikari Square rally of 1945, showing the people's power right after independence was declared. Yet tragically, Tan Malaka was executed in 1949 not by colonialists but by his own country. His life is a reminder that Indonesia's independence wasn't built by one man or one ideology, but by many voices. Some celebrated, others erased. Remembering Tan Malaka isn't just about the past, it is about reclaiming the full truth of our history.
So hi guys, we are now at the third topic and I would like to describe a thing. So I choose to describe a food because it is easily to describe. And I choose nasi goreng. But unfortunately that day when I want to buy nasi goreng, it's sold. So I go with kuih tiaw goreng. So kuih tiaw goreng is deceptively simple to make. Many Indonesians cook it at home using their own recipes. But when you try it from street food stalls or restaurant, every chef brings different taste. So I don't know why, but personally I prefer from kuih tiaw goreng from street food stalls. And yeah, even though restaurant version look fancy and use premium ingredients, but street food stalls have their own work and it make it authentic. So the one kuih tiaw street food that I try is located at Selanjana Street. It is in Bandung. And yeah, while I go there, I have a live report and I will show the video. What makes the experience truly special is the entire atmosphere surrounding the stall. When you place an order, you get a front row seat to the show. You hear the satisfying sizzle as the soft noodle hit the piping hot wok. The chef's metal spatula clanks rhythmically as they toss everything together as fast. And you can see the chef quick movements ensuring the noodles are evenly coated in sauce and flavor. The flames sometimes raise them dramatically from the wok, adding that smoky touch that you won't find in restaurant. Visually, the finished product is a steaming pile of boiled flat noodles glistening with soy sauce and speckled with slivers or shattered chicken or beef. And it is often accompanied by a fried egg with crispy edges and crunchy or kerupuk crackers. The aroma is irresistible. The classic scent of garlic, shallots, and soy sauce fills the air, perfectly mingled with that unmistakable smoky hint from the wok. You are sitting right by the street, feeling the warm night breeze mixed with the smell of spices and the steady drone of passing traffic. Alright guys, I have already finished my meal. Look, it's clean. So guys, I already full. This is the intersection if you want to go to the nasi goreng that nasi goreng in Selanjana. So there's Selanjana Street near Moxie Hotel.
Hi, I would like to describe my hometown and my current city where I live. First, my hometown is Pekanbaru. Pekanbaru is divided by its industry and lowland location, flat, warm, and bustling with business activities. In contrast, Bandung, the city where I currently reside, offers a dramatic dramatic counterpoint. Geographically, Bandung is situated on a high plain at an elevation of around 768 meters above sea level. This higher altitude gives the city its characteristically cool weather, while the cool, crisp air has become slightly warmer over the years. The temperature remains much milder than in lowland cities like Pekanbaru. This elevated location also gives Bandung its famous atmosphere, a relaxed, almost romantic vibe that earned it the nickname Paris Van Java. The people here are known for their friendly and gentle nature. Yet, Bandung has also become a melting pot, attracting students and workers from across Indonesia, which enriches the local Sundanese culture. The city is also well known for its higher education institution and creative industry. This concentration of intellectual and artistic energy is what truly defines Bandung modern identity. Speaking of culture, the culinary scenes here is exceptional, while I still love Sumatran food from my hometown. But Bandung's signature hot drinks like sekoteng and bajigur are my favorites. These traditional sweet and spicy beverages are made from ginger and coconut milk, are perfect companions during a rainy Bandung night. Bandung also has solid transportation system. The train network connects it conventionally with other cities, and traveling by land from Jakarta via tol is, I think, it's quick and efficient. However, the overland route from Pekanbaru remains a journey that I haven't experienced yet. For air travel, while Bandung has its own airport, many people, including myself, often use the newer Kertajati International Airport for long-distance flights. So as for landmarks beyond its creative space, historical cities like Gedung Sate and Asia Africa Convention Museum remind us of Bandung's significant role in Indonesia history. In the end, both Pekanbaru and Bandung hold special place in my heart. Pekanbaru represents my root and family ties, while Bandung embodies creativity and growth. Despite their contrast, both cities shape who I am today. That's all for me. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.